All right, folks, now we're going to switch gears a little bit. Joining us is White House Deputy Chief of Staff, Mr. James Blair. James, welcome back to the show. You probably heard a little bit about the Kash Patel thing. James, I want to ask you about this. John Fetterman, Democrat John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, he was on some talk show. He picked up, I don't know, I think I'm going to have to read it. Here, shutting down the government is really what the Democratic Party wants to do. Obamacare subsidies were designed by the Democratic Party to expire. This is not something taken by the Republicans. In some sense, James, that's the heart of it. All right, this was a poorly laid booby trap by the Democrats, and the clean CR continues to be rejected. So let me just talk about the Fetterman quote. What is he saying, and what's your reaction to it?
Yeah, Senator Fetterman is telling the truth, and to be honest, he's been telling the truth every step of the way of this government shutdown process. Senator Fetterman is one of the 3 Democrats in the Senate who have voted alongside the Republicans to keep the government open on every vote, and that's because he's just being honest with people. He is correct that these subsidies that they are talking about were set to expire by the Democrats, not once, but twice, back in 2021 and 2022, when Joe Biden was the president and Democrats controlled the House and the Senate. This is something they designed to happen. Now, the president has said, as we've talked about before, he wants to talk about health care. He wants people to have affordable health care. But that's a conversation that can start as soon as the government is open in detail. Obviously, it's something we talk about all the time, but these are complex things that need to be negotiated with the government open. People should not be held hostage. People should not be punished so that the Democrats can try to score cheap political points. You know what's happening right now? Right now, they are about to, more than half the states in this country are about to run out of money to be able to add new people onto food assistance programs, okay? That's what the Democrats are doing. They're literally going to stop people from getting help being able to eat. The only reason that the WIC program, Women, Infants, and Children, has not run out of money is because the president has done everything in his power to move money around to continue those dollars flowing so that women and infants and children that depend on this for livelihood, for their sustenance, can continue to eat. He's also moved money around so the troops they can pay, as Director Patel said, to keep law enforcement on the street. So the president is doing everything he can to keep the essential services going during this government shutdown that the Democrats and Chuck Schumer most particularly have led and continued. So it's nice to see Senator Fetterman stick up. I hope some of his colleagues do the same. But the president is on the right side here. He's on the side of the people here, and he's asking for something very simple. Open the government so we can get back to work.
I don't understand, really. Look, I know Chuck Schumer a long time, but I just don't understand his argument, James. In other words, the latest thing that I read, you know a lot more about this than I do. They're waiting for this march, it's King's March or something that's supposed to happen this weekend. I mean, they're always waiting for something. I just don't understand Schumer's argument. Why not sign the clean CR, which they've done a dozen times in the past, and then talk about these other issues? You don't want to. Well, I don't want to hold up military men and women in harm's way. I don't want to hold up FBI agents. I don't want to hold up low-income programs that you just described, nutrition programs, and so forth and so on. What's his argument? I don't understand. You know what I mean? There has to be. If you and I disagree, we have to know there's an argument. Both sides have a point of view. What's his point of view?
Well, there's not a real point of view. That's the reality. Chuck Schumer has for many, 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 many years, many times publicly said, you don't shut down the government just so you can debate policy. Policy debates are what Congress is for. That is literally their day job. You don't shut down the government, start hurting people, start hurting the economy just so you can debate about something that should be discussed anyway. It's very simple. Open the government and keep discussing the policy. That's literally what they're elected to do. The fact is, he is being a coward, folding to his left-wing base, who frankly is going to attack him anyway. You know, he just needs to do the right thing, and I hope he does do the right thing. And honestly, we had an okay conversation with him when he was over at the White House with the president, and the president told him very clearly, along with Leader Jeffries, I want to work with you guys on health care. I want to talk to you guys about health care, but you cannot hold the American people hostage. Open the government and let's work on healthcare and everything else we need to work on. That message was delivered very clearly. The president has said it publicly dozens of times. I don't know what their argument is. What I think is that they really do want health care for illegal immigrants. They really do want to repeal the common sense reforms that we put into law to kick dead people off the Medicaid rolls and these other things. And that's what the left wants. That's what these protesters want. They want free health care for everybody, including illegals. They want things that the American taxpayer should not have to pay for. They have not voted for, and they never agreed to.
Yeah, well, these numbers being tossed around, they want to add $1.5 trillion to the budget, basically to offset one big, beautiful bill. That's not the way the system works. The reconciliation bill is the reconciliation bill. You don't just wipe that away. Anyway, let me ask you one last thing, James Blair. This California judge, Ilston, okay, Susan Ilston, she's saying that OMB, I love this, OMB and OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, have taken advantage of lapses in government spending, and that the president should not be allowed to end any federal employees or programs. Well, but that's exactly right. I mean, because there's no appropriations, the president has the executive authority. I mean, Russ Vought sent this circular out weeks ago. We had him on the show and talked about it. And meanwhile, if it's non-essential, then it may be time to make it non-essential. This judge has the argument right. Her conclusion is completely wrong. Why shouldn't the president have the authority? He is the chief executive.
I mean, it's an absurd statement on its face, and everybody knows this, including the Democrats. They knew that layoffs were going to occur and reductions in force could occur if they shut down the government. That's something that has always happened during a government shutdown. That's not a new or surprising thing. This is a judge trying to make law from the bench and assert something that is not the case, that has never been the case, and both parties understand that. They both agreed to it. There has been times before where both parties have shut down the government in the past, at some point in the last 20 years, and it's true every single time. Here's the simple fact. The Democrats shut down the government. They are responsible for everything that is happening right now. The Democrats can prevent any layoffs. They can prevent any furloughs by simply voting to reopen the government. It is literally that simple.
And is the president going to pull a trigger tomorrow? He's supposed to make an announcement about layoffs and programs?
Look, layoffs have already begun. That's begun happening, and programs have already begun to get cut. And look, it's necessary. Just so the American public understands, we are running out of money. There has to be money appropriated by the Congress. That's how our legal system works, and put into the budget to give us the legal authority to spend it. And that is winding down. So Russ Vought and the president are using every creative but legally allowable maneuver they can to keep the most essential programs going. Those are the things I mentioned. Keep women and children being able to be fed so they don't starve on the street. Keep the troops paid so that they don't miss a paycheck. Keep the FBI agents still continuing to do investigatory work and law enforcement work. We're focused on the most essential things, but we don't have the authority or the money to do everything. It is up to Congress to get the job done, and specifically is up to the Democrats in Congress to get the job done. Every Republican plus 3 Democrats have voted to keep the government open. It is time for the other Democrats to step up and just do the right thing. It's really that simple.
Yeah, it's not hard. We got to let you go. The whole business about the Antifa indictments in Texas, we have to fund the FBI. We have to fund the G-men and G-women. They are doing their job just as people elected them to do. Anyway, James Blair, Deputy Chief of Staff of the White House, as always, we appreciate your time, sir.
Thanks for having me.